Okay, welcome to another prepared flight simulator video. This is going to be another fly around of a particular area of the world, and this time we are flying around Tokyo. This was requested by somebody who saw one of my previous videos. So let me go ahead and start the stopwatch here so I can be sure to keep this down to about 10 minutes. And let's get into the sky and have a look around. Once again, I'm in the F-22 Raptor so that we can cover quite a bit of distance. So let's get pitched up here. Raise the landing gear. And let me take a look outside just to make sure that I'm raising the landing gear. Okay, I am. And let me back off the throttle a little bit so I don't overstress the vehicle. This is actually the second time I'm recording this one because the first time I had the throttle too high and I overstressed the vehicle just shortly after takeoff. So this will be an interesting flight for me personally, because I've never flown over Tokyo in a flight simulator. Even when I was playing with Microsoft Flight Simulator, I guess it was 2002 and then 2004 and then eventually 2010 or FSX and even X-Plane. Tokyo was an area that for whatever reason I just never thought to try out. Never thought to fly around and check it out. So it looks fairly flat. I guess that's not too surprising because I believe Tokyo's right on the ocean. But I believe Japan is actually very mountainous if you get inside, if you get inland very far. I believe it's very mountainous if I'm not mistaken. So just doing a hard bank here, turning back the other way toward the airport because it looked to me like going out too far away from the airport. It was just getting into the sea. So just doing a hard bank here. Going to turn all the way back around, fly back toward the airport, and then probably slow things down a little bit so we can get a good look at what everything looks like. And again, just as a reminder, this is all default texture. There's no add-ons here. This is completely standard stock textures that comes with prepared by default. There is a set of textures I'm really thinking about getting by, I think it's called Rex 4. That's REX and then the number 4. So that must be where we took off from. And let me pan the camera around a bit. I'm not actually sure if this airport is in Tokyo proper or if we have to fly over to Tokyo. In fact, let me not do that, which is reset the camera to the wrong angle. But let me get to level flight here. Let me adjust the trim a bit. And I'm going to bring up the map real quick just to make sure that I'm actually flying over Tokyo. Okay, so we are here. And I'm going to fly basically west and then a little north because I think this must be getting over to Tokyo. Okay. So let's bank a bit this way. That's a little bit of an aggressive bank. And a little bit more because we needed to go straight west and then a little north. But it looks to me like that's just getting out over the sea. There's a building over here on the water. I'll go see what that is. Clearly I don't know anything about Japan. Generally, when you're flying over, I guess we must be over Tokyo, so let's go down a bit. Let's kill the throttle and get rid of this elevator trim. Okay, yeah, this must be Tokyo. These are the major buildings. What I was going to say, whenever you're flying over a major city in these flight sims, you can usually tell because the textures change from just being, you know, flat grid-like fields and whatnot to these types of buildings. And the major cities typically have these types of buildings more dense. It depends on the city. Like when I fly over Orlando, there aren't that many buildings at all, but that's pretty typical for Orlando. It's not a major city like you know, New York or LA, so there's not a whole lot of these types of buildings. Try to fly smoothly here so we get a good look. I don't know what any of these buildings are. Not sure what the major buildings are in Tokyo. I know, like, if you fly over how do you pronounce it? Kuala Lumpur, you might be able to see the Petronas Towers. Perhaps that's a destination I'll do in another video. This looks like a stadium of some sort here. Quite a bit of traffic if you look down at the right side on that very busy highway of sorts. There's clearly a lot of traffic. Hopefully, if you know Tokyo better than I do, then you'll recognize what we're flying over here. But yeah, that looks like some kind of sporting event stadium. I think baseball's popular in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. So perhaps that's a baseball stadium. And let's fly over this way. I see some major buildings off in the distance, so let's bring the throttle way up and go over there and have a look. And again, this is why I'm using the Raptor, because I can cover these types of distances in fairly short order. You know, if I were flying with the Cessna, it would take quite a while just to go from where we were to these buildings over here. Again, I gotta watch the speed so I don't stress the vehicle too much, because we're flying at a very low altitude. The atmosphere is very dense, and I'm over speeding, so let me back off. Another dense cluster of buildings here, so let's see what these are. And again, if you know what the buildings are, feel free to leave a comment down below. Enlighten me, educate me. Looks like we have a tower, almost like the Eiffel Tower over here. No idea what that is, but it does, from the distance at least, it looks a lot like the Eiffel Tower. A few other major buildings here, probably a business district of some sort, I'm guessing. Guessing that's just a radio tower of some kind, but it has the shape of the Eiffel Tower with the way the legs are. Okay, let's bank around this way, see if we can catch these other buildings. Frame rate's not that good at all right now. And my computer, if I do say so myself, is actually pretty good. So the fact that the frame rate's kind of poor tells me there's lots of room for optimization yet in this simulator. Let me check the time real quick. Been gone about 9 minutes, so just do a couple more minutes here. One thing I'm curious about, I think I saw off in the distance maybe, was like some mountains. Not sure if that's what I saw over there or not. It looks like it gets a little hilly at least. Let's kind of fly that direction for a while, a couple minutes. See what's over there at least. Get as far as we can. And then we'll end this part of the video. If you enjoyed the fly around of Tokyo, leave a comment down below. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. And if you want me to fly around your part of the world, leave a comment and I will be happy to do that. Or even if it's not your part of the world, even if it's just something that you're interested in seeing. You know, there's lots of, yeah, these were mountains. That's what I thought. I always thought Japan was quite mountainous once you got a little bit inland at least. And we can see that's definitely the case here. One thing I do like about mountains in simulators is that it makes for a real pretty flight when the ground is just completely flat, like it is over Florida and quite a bit of the United States. It's not real interesting, but when you get out into the mountains, like the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, or out that way, it just makes for a much more interesting looking flight visually. Hawaii is really nice to fly over too because it has really high volcanic mountain areas. So that's very cool. Looks like an area that I would like to fly around for sure, especially in the smaller planes where you can just putter around and really enjoy the view. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for the suggestion. I don't recall your username off the top of my head, otherwise I'd mention it, but thanks for the suggestion to fly around Tokyo. And I will see you in the next video.